Hello, welcome back to the PR Style Guide. I am Robin Newton and I am joined by my co-host Danielle Williams and Miss Loni. We have a new guest for you, but before we get into introducing our guest, I want to share some exciting news. One of the things that we're doing is providing resources to our PR Style Guide audience, and we have a resource on our website. That's theprstyleguide.com. And it is 10 tips to a winning pitch. Everybody who works in the comms industry wants to know, how can I get my pitch seen, read, and how can I get that media hit? And so these are some of the tips that Danielle and I came up with and that we want to share with you. Thank you for joining us. And now I'm going to kick it over to Danielle to introduce Loni.
Thank you, Robin. And again, welcome to the PR Style Guide. We are so grateful that you're joining us for another episode and being a part of this community that we're building as well. So I am excited to introduce our guest today. She is someone who I've known. I think we backtracked. We've known each other for some years, and so I am just going to get right into her bio. I'm excited to introduce Loni. She is a proud alumni of Hampton University, where she graduated with a Bachelor's of Arts in Communications. Being a natural storyteller, Loni has used her educational background to communicate and promote messaging for some of the top companies in the world, such as McDonald's, Amazon, and Target. Y'all know we love ourselves from Target. She currently
Target.
Target. Right. So put some respect on it, okay? Target. She currently serves as a senior public relations manager for Target, where she focuses on its corporate responsibility, human resources, operations, and diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. Some of Loni's career highlights include producing and hosting Metro Focus, a television series that highlighted WMATA's Metro Accessible businesses throughout the greater Washington, D.C. metropolitan area, leading crisis communication for over 1,000 McDonald restaurants throughout the U.S., representing Amazon's U.S. operations in emerging international communities, seeking to create similar operation models, supporting Target's media relations for major selling moments throughout the year, and community-specific Heritage Month celebrations. Loni's love for speaking and public engagement is evident in her everyday interactions with people. Loni is an avid traveler and subscribes to the motto, "Traveling is the only thing money can buy that will make you richer." Loni is happily married to her loving husband, Aaron. Loni, welcome to the PR Style Guide podcast.
Yes, thanks for having me, ladies. I'm so happy to be here. I'm in great company. You were reading that bio. I was like, who's she talking about?
You, girl. That's you.
Oh, well, thank you both so much for the lovely introduction.
Yes. And off the bat, you and Robin have something in common because Robin, when I read your bio, Robin loves to travel too. Robin, you want to speak?
Absolutely. Reservationsbyrobin.com. Look it up. Okay. Book with me.
I love that. Absolutely.
Reservations by Robin.
Reservations by Robin. Yes. We'll definitely have to talk about that offline, but I love to travel. And so I can talk about travel all day. So anybody who loves to travel, I know we're going to be good friends.
Yeah.
So I could go the travel route tonight too. So just reel me back in if y'all need to.
Listen, if I figure out how to do travel and PR together, that would be my perfect career, my perfect job.
Well, if you find out, please invite me to join. We can work together.
Yeah.
Right. Now you can't leave me behind, Robin. We still got to figure out how to do this from wherever you are now. Okay.
That's what the internet and hotspots are for, okay?
Yeah.
So, Loni, we love to kick things off at the PR Style Guide, brown sugar style. And so tell us, when did you first fall in love with PR?
Oh, gosh. I would say I first fell in love with PR, communications as a whole in high school. I was a very talkative kid, always the one at the report card time. Lonnie's a great student, but she's always talking in class kind of thing, right? And I had a teacher who really helped me hone into some of my natural abilities of just being an extrovert, being a person who has a bubbly personality. And she asked me to join our morning news station. So I went to Bishop McNamara High School in Forestville, Maryland. And I started off doing the morning news, and I was the anchor for about 3 years. We would do producing, editing, writing, script, all the stuff, just all the comms side of it. And I just had so much fun with it. We had that little chime that went off in the morning. I think it was like ding dong, and then my face came up on the TV screen, and everyone in the class, was always rooting, cheering for me. So I knew communications was something I wanted to do. I actually went to Hampton for a broadcast initially. I wanted to be a sports anchor. And I quickly realized that probably was not going to be the avenue I want to take. So I started taking some other comms courses, and I fell in love with public relations. I actually hosted a radio show in Hampton called the Yard Radio Show. So I still was able to do a little bit of, my broadcast with my PR side, but ultimately I stuck with the PR and got my degree in that. And it's been up ever since.
Wow. Don't you love those teachers who just pour into you and make a great impact? That is
absolutely
awesome.
And someone who sees what I guess would be something that a child may need to work on, right? Like I was super talkative, right? But she's like, no, let's turn this into something that can be powerful and engaging for you, right? So seeing, I guess, not necessarily your weaknesses, but some areas where you can grow and fine tune it and hone it. And that takes a special teacher. So I appreciate everyone in the classroom for sure who can see those beauties and those gems in students.
I love that.
See you as an anchor, by the way. I would love to have seen you in high school. I could so see it.
Listen, after I around that camera on Hampton's campus for a few years, I was like, I don't know if this is for me.
It was the nights and weekend work that did it for me. I was like, oh, hold up. Nights, weekends, and holidays when you start off? Oh, my.
Yeah. But it's so funny because I still feel like my love for local news, I still get to do it every single day. So I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. I'm one of those people, even though I've worked on national PR teams, I'm very much so still focused on like, how can we push this locally, right? Like our Fox 5 DCs, NBC 7s, like all of those little, not to say little, but all of the smaller, networks. Of course, your USA Todays and your Good Morning Americas are great, but I still think you get such good push from having those hyper local focus messagings too. So I still get to do a little bit of that.
Yes, awesome. And just to clarify, I was saying I could see you as an anchor at McNamara. So I would have loved to seen you in high school. I would have loved to seen it. So yeah,
yes, in my little wool uniform.
Speaking of Bishop McNamara, now this is a very DC thing. DC girls, DMV girls. Right. What elementary school did you go to?
Oh gosh, I went to private Christian academies pretty much all throughout my education. So it's weird because it was the same building, but it was owned by multiple schools. So one was Bethel Christian Academy, and then one was Great Commission Christian Academy. And then I think that was where I graduated from what year you go to high school? 8th grade. Yes.
Well, right. We'll connect offline about that too, because I went to Nativity Catholic Academy for elementary school. So a lot of Nativity alum then went to Bishop McNamara.
Yeah, McNamara was my first Catholic school. So that was the first time I got into the Catholic education program. But up to that, I was in Christian Academy. So yeah.
So wait, all three private school girls. I went to private school when I was younger too.
Nice.
I know that, Danielle. I learned something new about you. Okay.
Nothing wrong with public school education, though. Trust me. My husband.
There absolutely is not. No. I went to public school for high school.
So did I.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So
I think I'm up. Next question. So, Loni, tell us what's one fashion staple for you being a woman in this industry?
Gosh, a couple come to mind, but I would say my favorite thing to throw on is a nice blazer. I feel like you can do blazers, you can dress them up, you can dress them down, you could do a dress, you could do a skirt, you can do jeans, you can do slacks. Like I am just a blazer staple. I love a really good fitted, nice tailored looking blazer. My favorite blazers are Zara. I think they have some really cute blazers for affordable prices, right? I mean, of course, you can get on a higher end, but I think about like affordability, buying some nice pieces. I would say like a nice, good, crisp blazer. And then my second runner up would be a nice white, crisp collared shirt, like a nice, real strong collar shirt. You can really do that dressed up and dressed down too. So those would be my two go tos.
Blazers are someone else has said blazers, so that has
Mhm.
a recurring theme, which yes.
Yeah. And I don't mean like just a black blazer. You can wear just a black blazer. But I love colors. I love prints. I love tweeds. Like, just you can really get creative with that. And you can do a nice little shell top so it's easy. It's an easy outfit.
Mm-hmm. It's so versatile, and it works. You can jazz it up and go out to happy hour, after you leave work with it on.
Absolutely. Yeah. We love a day to night look.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So tell us about some of the challenges working in PR, that you have overcome, or things that you just think that all PR people kind of deal with, and how you like work through that.
Yeah, absolutely. I always tell people in PR, you have to be okay and comfortable with rejection. And I think that it translates so much into your personal life, into your professional life, once you kind of become comfortable with that, right? And learning to not take things personally. Like I've had so many failed pitches. You talked about earlier, those 10 steps of like securing a great pitch. Even with those 10 steps, sometimes you still gonna get a no. You might not even get a response, right? And you have to learn to not take it personally. And you have to learn that, you just keep trying. You keep trying. For every no you get, there's that one yes, and that makes it all worth it to me. So I would say getting very comfortable with rejection, learning to not take things personally. You have to just kind of be nimble when it comes to PR, because so many things can change. I can remember pitching out what I thought were great stories, getting coverage opportunities, and having like a breaking news day for for the media, and my story now being the bottom of the barrel. No one's coming out. No, I mean, I have like literally mayors standing in front of me and no one from the media has come, and it's like super embarrassing, but it's just like, hey, things happen. The world is crazy, right? I'll give you a perfect example. This past week, we were working on some really strong stories for Target, and with the crisis in Israeli, all of those things had to take a back seat. People had to focus on what was most important for them right now. And that was not anything about, holiday shopping at Target right now. So you just learn to kind of keep moving.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. Oh, Danielle.
No, I was just you go.
So what's also interesting is that, do you even go there with that type of pitch and messaging, holiday shopping, when so much is going on in the world? Sometimes you almost have to take a step back and say, do people want this from us? And so that plays a part in it too, as a PR person, because you still have a job to do in promoting the brand that you work for. But if people are focused on something that's so tragic, do you go there? Do you still put that out? So sometimes it's about timing too. But I was going to also ask, to piggyback off of that, after Danielle says whatever she has to say, I was wondering, what are the positives that work in PR? What are the positive things that you take from working in PR? Because I always like to follow it up with a positive, since I asked you a negative.
Yeah. And I wanted to go back to your other point too. I think, you have to learn to not take things too seriously, right? Like, ideally, some of your clients, you may be saving the world, but the things I've worked on, I'm not saving the world. I'm selling cheeseburgers, I'm selling clothes, I'm selling, fun stuff. It's not the end of the world. So when you have those moments where you have to take a seat back and you're like, hey, this may not be a priority, and live in that pause, that is something that is very important as a PR professional, because you can come off very tone deaf, right? You can come off very, insensitive, and honestly too, you don't want to build bad relationships. And when you step outside of those lines like that to a reporter, who someone's like, hey, you saw what's happening in Israel right now, and you're pitching me about Black Friday deals, right? Like, you don't want to ever come off insensitive. So you do have to live in that pause and be conscious, and remember, like, it's not the end of the world. Things can still get put out regardless. So that's a great point. One of my positives for PR, I have so many. I love it. I think I found the job or the career that definitely was made for me. I have enjoyed all of the years that I've been able to do it. Some of the positive is like seeing opportunities from your clients when they're telling great news, right? Like um, with McDonald's, I worked with a lot of local owner operators, especially in the DC, Maryland area where I was residing at the time. And I was able to really tell some great stories for them, like things they were doing from scholarships. Like I had one of the owner operators who would literally, out of her own pocket, give scholarship money to all of her high school seniors when they were graduating, right? And just being able to tell those moments, those things that she was doing in her community, those are the moments that make it all worth it. And I have so much fun doing. I love profile stories. I love like meeting people who have just great stories to tell. And I'm just always about finding moments about them. At Target, I actually just had a chance to tell the story of a woman who's been at Target now for 52 years. 52 years she's worked at Target. It's insane to me.
Awesome.
And she's just had such a beautiful, long career. And just being able to talk to her and tell her story, just those moments are the ones that make it all worth it and so much fun for me. And then, of course, there's always the elements of things that are fun that are happening. Like Target's always doing something fun for the holidays, and you get to kind of be on scene and in the excitement of it all. Like I love being in person for events. Like if we're opening up a store, I'll go to the store opening and like work with people directly, deal with the store director, make them comfortable, all that stuff. So there's like that thrill. People I know get nervous with some of those events, but that's like when I thrive. I'm like, I want to be out there on the field. I want to meet people. I want to talk to the reporters directly. So those are the moments that I like live for and have so much fun with.
Nice. So I want to follow up to a couple of things that you said, Loni. When you talked about, which one was it? So some positives of PR. Let me just say that. So I think also, you talked about being tone deaf. So I feel like some things that we can learn is becoming more, I don't know if it's emotional intelligence, but like just kind of culturally, of course you have to be culturally aware. And then also just becoming resilient. You talked about rejection. I feel like those are positive things that if you're going to be in the space of PR, you have to be resilient. You have to, just know that a rejection, it's all about how you look at it. A rejection can be closer to that next yes. It can be, I'm learning what not to do, to get better. So I really like that about PR as well. I do feel like, not that you have to be this tough cookie, but kind of, you just have to not take things too seriously. I think you said that. So I would say that. And I feel like I'm newer in the PR space. You all are more seasoned. So I can definitely say that for myself. I feel like, wow, you do put those pitches out and it's like, okay, that wasn't answered. But when you get that one, or even just getting feedback sometimes like, hey, this is not really in my space. Or, I feel like even those just points of clarification, whether you're a growing professional or whatever, are really helpful. So I just wanted to mention those also.
Yeah, I think you have a great point there because it's like as PR professionals, we're so focused on the brand that we're representing. And you have to remember that you're a brand yourself, right? Like, so how you're coming off is just as important as how you are presenting your client to be. And I think that's something that you may miss sometimes. You may forget because you're so laser focused on getting the yes and getting the answer, getting the response, right? Like you're just as much of a brand for yourself.
I love that and agree.
Yeah, totally. That actually brings me to my next question. So, do you prefer working for individual clients or companies? You primarily, I think, worked with companies, but big brands, big companies, corporations. But have you worked for any individual people doing PR? And if so, how was that experience in comparison to what you do now?
Yeah, so actually my very first PR internship was with a small boutique PR firm in DC, and she specialized in like celebrities and local artists and things like that. So that was more of that contract kind of PR. You get a client, you're brought on for a retainer, you want to get certain X amount of placements, that kind of thing, like project based kind of clientele. And I will say that was also like 2010. So things were different. I always say I learned from that old school publicist who had the black book. She literally threw it on her desk and was like, hey, call these people. So I felt like a cold caller, like I was selling knives on the other line or something. Like that was how I was introduced to PR. I always thought like this stuff is great. I love the technology and the advances we've had, but I remember like literally having to pick up a phone and call a reporter to get like a interest in them. So I've had a little bit of both experiences. I will say that I do like working more on the company base, the client side, like the larger corporation, I guess you would say in a sense. But I do see a lot of benefit from working from individuals, whether you're working from like a certain clientele. I have a lot of friends who are in agency settings. I have a very close friend who actually started his own PR firm. We were just talking about this 4 years ago, and he's been able to keep a steady drumbeat of clientele just because of the relationships he built while he was at major companies like BET, Comcast, those areas. So I think it's all about, like we said earlier, your brand, you're building a reputation for yourself. And that can trickle into, eventually opening up your own firm one day or doing something on a one-off. Maybe somebody might like the work that I'm doing for Target and see that and they reach out to me about doing something, for them directly. Like those are the type of things that you should be open to. And I'm totally open to those kind of areas. But long-winded answer to go back to your thing. Yes, I enjoy my corporate experiences so far. It has been a lot of learnings because I think it's nice to just where like you mentioned me being senior, Danielle, but I feel like I still have so much to learn too. So it's like being around other PR professionals and like what I consider to be the greats in the industry is just an opportunity for me to grow and learn too. So.
And that's how we should always be. I feel like we should never stop learning and growing. So I love that. I feel like I remember I mentioned this, we caught up last week, but when you brought me along for a McDonald's event that I got a chance to come and be a part of that. So in my eyes, you have just been doing so many great things, but I just love your approach to it all. I love just, again, how you're always learning and growing. That will always serve you well. So I just wanted to give you a quick kudos, girl, about that.
Girl.
Absolutely. That's one
Welcome.
of our mottos around here. Keep learning and growing. That's
Sure
Yeah.
is.
literally what we do. That's what this show is about. We both have been working in this business, Danielle. You get in there, girl. You approaching the season.
I need to give myself more credit. Thank you, Robin.
Absolutely. But yeah, we're both still learning and growing. That's what it's all about. That's why we're doing this.
Yes. So you mentioned fun about your job, and you mentioned, so when we also caught up last week, tell us a little bit about the activations that you get to do. You did one recently with a product at Target now, which I love that product. So share a little bit about some of that work.
What is this
Yeah.
product? Are you allowed to share what this product is? I want to know.
I didn't
Yeah.
want to steal her thunder, so I didn't want to say it.
We are not under embargo, guys. I can share.
All right.
um, yeah, the activations are definitely one of the fun parts of the job. It's interesting when you work because I come from the agency setting, right, where I was doing the activations, like actually putting the chairs together and the tablecloths. Like I've had to do all of it when it comes to these events. So now working for a company like Target where there's a team for every single thing, right? So there's a team who does the activations. They're literally just traveling around, setting up little like pop-up shops and pop-up spaces and things like that. So I've been able to see both sides of it. I know how much work goes into this stuff. It's always like great to see on social and on the news, how beautiful and how nice it is, but it's a lot of work that goes into that. So kudos to anybody who touches any of those spaces. But what Danielle's referencing was last week, actually, I think it was the week before last, excuse me. I had a chance to go to Howard University's homecoming with Ulta Beauty at Target. So now in Target, there are Fenty snacks are what they call. So it's a Fenty beauty line. They have like these little mini travels. They're super cute. I actually have one. I should have brought it up, but it's Fenty snack size. So like travel size Fenty products. Yep. It's a little cute little bottle like that. And you can get them now at Target. So in order to you just kind of like show Target being in the spaces, right? For Black culture, we know homecoming is the quintessential time of Black season, right? Like this is a space that Target did not want to miss out on being in. Because we recognize that products like Fenty Beauty are going to attract that younger audience, that college student who wants to look beautiful for homecoming, right? So what other way could we treat them to treating some Howard students to getting their makeup done by some of the best DC DC, Maryland based makeup artists in the area. So they came, got their makeup done, got to use all Fenty products. Kalani Barfield was there, which is one of my favorite Target partnerships. She's amazing in real life. Got a chance to talk to her, and she is just as kind and nice as she is, as she presents herself to be online. So that's always great. And it was really just about showing just Target being in the spaces and supporting Black communities. And I think that we did a really great job with that. And Howard Homecoming being the mecca of all homecomings. I went to Hampton, but let's be real, Howard has a great homecoming too. So, being in those spaces was nice.
You in trouble. Ooh.
No, I am not that Hamptonian that talks crazy. I always say people are like, oh, it's the real HU. I'm like, first of all, it's never really a Hampton person who's in that battle. It's always a Howard person or someone who didn't go to either school. So I'm not the person. I do not care. A college education is a college education, and we all should be grateful for it because we probably still paying for it. Okay.
Look, after this episode drops, I'm going to have some of my GHO friends hit me up saying, hold up, wait a minute. No Hampton, no Howard.
Great homecoming too. Greatest homecoming on earth. It has its own title. I would never take away from that. But Howard has a cute scene. I mean, it's DC. What doesn't get any better, right? It naturally makes itself a good time because you're in DC. I feel like with all our other schools like Hampton, A&T, we have to make our fun because we're in the middle of nowhere, right? DC is like, it's just kind of self-made. You're in the city. So that's all I meant. No disrespect to my other HBCU alums out there.
For all the HBCU homecomings. Yes, right. All of them. Howard, I've never been to Hamptons, but Howard, A&T's, I've been to both. And I would definitely go to Hamptons too.
We welcome you with open arms. Come on down.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, so are you up next? My bad.
No, ma'am. You.
Okay. So, Loni, do you have a professional mentor? And if so, how and why did you choose them?
Full transparency, I definitely need to put a little more intention into having a mentor in a sense. I have friends that I've been blessed to go to school with, and they've just, from the day we graduated, they jumped out the gate. Moved to New York, sleeping on people's floors, air mattresses, just for that grind, and I always admire them for that. And I just look at where they've been able to catapult their careers in the past 13 years or so since we graduated. So I definitely look at them as mentors. One of my best friends, Robert Avery, he is someone who I call anytime I have a PR question, PR need, like, hey, can you read my press release? Can you read my pitch? What can I do to make this stronger? So I think sometimes we think of the word mentor as someone being older, someone who may have a little bit more season, but he is definitely someone I find to be a great resource. But I'm going to work on 2024. I'm going to work on having more mentors for sure.
I think you hit on a great point. It doesn't have to be someone, sometimes when we think of mentors, we think of 10, 15, they've been in the business all these years. But the reality is that it can be someone who is among our peers, but, whether it's just further ahead in experiences or whatever the case is, like you said, just your friends who really hit that grind, and there's something to learn from that. There's something to learn from anyone. Again, if we just really have that mindset and perspective. So I think for where you are, and you do have mentors, and just adding, if you are, I don't know what even kind of mentor you're looking for. If it is someone who is older, more seasoned, it's just going to make you even more phenomenal because you're already phenomenal. But I think you have the right perspective about mentorship, and people miss out on mentors, on opportunities for development, because we're looking at it from a skewed, they have to be this amount of years older or whatever. So I'm sorry. Yeah. What were you about to say?
No, I was just going to say, I feel like I've been really blessed to have some really great bosses over the years, people I've just been able to really learn and grow from, people who have respected the growth that the journey that I'm on. I can remember, that uncomfortable place when you're ready to leave a job and you're going to tell your boss. And I can think of all of my past bosses have just had so much kind words and such a great process of me leaving the company, because I think that we just had such a mutual respect for the work that we were doing, and they recognized that I was just going to, even the next greater heights in my career. So I consider them to be somewhat of mentors as well too. I've been very blessed to have some strong bosses in my career.
Absolutely. That's a blessing, by the way, to
It
have
is
great
a
boss.
blessing. Yeah. Whenever you can have someone cheering you on as you say goodbye to them, which also speaks to you and the person that you are.
Yeah. I read a quote once that said, people don't leave bad companies, they leave bad bosses, right? So that makes a difference. Who you work for is 90% of why you will love a job. So it's important to, make sure you are, I always say, equally yoked in a sense with your boss, right? Like you need to make sure y'all are on the same page about what you want and where you're going to go.
So, do you have any books or resources that you would recommend that you are go-tos for you?
Yeah. I am definitely about associations and clubs. Like I am a member of ColorCom, which I think is a great resource. Color Communications. It's an organization created for women of color in communications. It's a great resource. They do a really good internship program. They do have nice portals for like job postings and things. So it's a great resource. PRSA, of course, is something just a nationally recognized public relations group that I think is a great resource too. Um, yeah, I would just say I focus a lot more on those organizations and trying to be like involved, especially now that we're out of COVID, right? I'm noticing we're having much more conferences and stuff. So that's definitely a goal of mine for next year, being a part of those areas and those conferences and growing and being around other, especially women of color in PR, right? Like it's important to see us and know how it is being a part of this world for people who look like us. PR Manifesto is a great one too. They're definitely more vocal on Instagram. So their PR manifesto, I think it's actually PR Girl Manifesto, excuse me. But that's a really great resource. They just actually had an event this past week in New York. One of my coworkers had a chance to go and she spoke so highly of it. So just like I would say finding little groups that you can join with women, not even just women, with PR professionals who you can just bounce ideas off of, right? Who have the same experiences, they understand what you're going through, that kind of thing.
ColorCom has some really cool webinars too. I've not gone to any of their in-person events, but especially during COVID, I watched a couple of their online programs with different speakers, and they were all amazing.
Yeah, they are a great group.
So we're going to shift gears and go into our what we call the lightning round, where we're going to just give you an opportunity to share some more personal things about you. These are either or questions, this or that type of questions. And so, Danielle, you want to kick it off?
Yes. All right, Lonnie. So, coffee or tea?
I'm going to go tea, chai tea specifically.
I always knew why I loved you, but we are soul sisters. Chai tea is
I love a
jam.
nice chai. I can do it iced or
Just
hot.
met you, but we are soul sisters too. I love me a chai tea. Mac or PC?
Mac, Mac girl for sure. Although, if I'm being real, I probably don't even really know how to use all the capabilities of it. But I'm a Mac girl.
Right, I'm with you.
I'm like, I learned something new about that computer every day.
Same here. Early bird or night owl?
Early bird for sure. I am waking. Don't matter what time I go to bed. I'm waking up before 7. Like, I hate it. It's awful. But I'm also trying to be. I'm sleep by 11. No later than 10:30, 11.
That's my goal at night too. Yes.
My goal, yeah.
Right.
Spring or fall?
Spring.
Okay.
I'm actually more of a summer, but those weren't my choices. So spring out of the other two.
Is your birthday in the summer? Are you summer?
No, my birthday's in what is November? Fall? Early winter? Yeah. My birthday's actually next week from when we're filming. I know this is coming out a different time, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Okay,
nice.
happy early birthday.
Yes,
Thank you guys. Yeah, I like the summer. I like being hot. I'm that person that's like, I want the windows down. Yeah, I love the summer. But out of my choices, I had spring.
God bless you for the summer heat. All right, beach or mountains?
Beach all day.
Yeah, when you said summer, I figured you were a beach girl.
Yeah. Anything by the water, I'm at peace.
Black suit or blue suit?
Black, I guess.
Okay.
But I'm trying to go with colors too. So I have a pink suit and I love wearing it. It's like loud and proud. So yeah.
Right. I know you said colors, the prints, the tweed. I would love to see your
Yeah.
outfit. I would
I'm
love.
like, you can be born with a lot of things, but I'm not going to be born with my clothes. So I like to be
Do
loud.
you get discounts at Target while we talking about clothes and fabulous fashion?
I do, but it's not enough. Trust me, it's not a lot. Not what you think it is. It's like 10%, and that's taxes and fees. Now, I
Okay.
will say, I did not know this till I joined Target, but if you join Target Red Card, you get an automatic 5% discount on all Target purchases. But you do not have to get the credit card. They have a debit card feature, which comes straightly out of your like your bank account. So it's not like a credit card, which is what I signed up for because I'm like, I don't need no more credit cards.
Mm-hmm.
But it's an automatic 5% discount. So most people don't know about it.
And this is the red card? Okay.
Yep. Yep. The
Thank
debit
you.
card, though.
Right.
Mhm.
Thank you for that note. Because I'm in Target, you can get my barcode and my scanning all the time. So I'm definitely about to get
Yeah.
that.
And that's off the top. So if you get like 20% off, like say paper towels or something, it's really 25% off because you get your Target Red Card discount too. So,
Oh, that's
Wow.
awesome. Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
hmm
Okay, so I feel like I know the answer to this one, but Instagram or Facebook?
Instagram. I don't even know my Facebook login.
Right.
Um, okay. Samantha Jones or Olivia Pope?
Olivia Pope all day.
Okay. Washington Post or New York Times?
Ooh, gosh, both great publications. Because it's the hometown, I'm going with the Post, but Jeff Bezos owns it now, so it's kind of like, But
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Post still.
Okay. So we already know the answer to this one. You answered it. Extrovert or introvert? Extrovert.
Extrovert. Although COVID kind of made me a little bit of an introvert sometimes too. Like I be needing to come home to get my like recharge from being out too much. And that was not before COVID. I used to be able to like be out all day. Now like I gotta come back home and recharge a little bit. So I feel
Wow.
like I might tither on a little bit of both these days, but truly more of an extrovert.
Okay. No, I don't. I've heard sometimes as you get older, you may need more of that inside introvert time as well. So I don't know if that's really a thing, but
Yeah, I can
yeah.
see it. It's definitely happened over here. I'm like, ooh, I've been out too long. I gotta go home.
I'm the same way. I'm a extrovert to the fullest, but now in my older, more seasoned, we'll go with seasoned years,
Right.
and COVID, I think that definitely had something to do with it as well. I find myself being like, okay, if I'm going out on Friday, I can't go out on Saturday. Well, if I got something planned for Sunday, I got to be home on Saturday. I cannot do back to back days anymore. Like you get
Yeah.
one, you get one.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think that's so true. Like we finally learned how to just sit down. Like I don't know if you were like me before COVID. I was just running, running, running. And then like COVID made us force ourselves to sit down and I learned the value in just kind of having a pause in a bit, like
Yeah.
taking a break. It's not bad. So I agree with you. I can't do all 3 days on the weekend. You're going to catch me either Friday or Saturday. Sunday, most times I might do a brunch, but then I need to come home and get myself together. So
Right.
But even with the brunch, I don't know because I know you moved to South Carolina, so I don't know how y'all do things down there. But here in DC, brunch is all day. So when
it's
you
a
tell
marathon.
your girlfriends that you're going to brunch, you have to do the caveat. I'm going to brunch from 1 to 3.
Right.
I can give you brunch and a day party. I can give you brunch and a day party, but I'm home by 7. Absolutely. Feet up, ready to like be watching my Sunday shows. Absolutely. So
Yes to the feet up.
And last but not least, heels, flats, or tennis shoes.
heels for sure. Heels. I don't know. Something about them just makes me feel so feminine. I have really big legs. So I always just think heels makes my legs look so much more defined and my muscles I be working out so hard for be popping. I love a good heel.
See, I love heels. I'm 5'2", so I'm like, I need this extra
Little
height
high.
here.
I
Yes. Yes.
see.
And just the walk, but that's changed a little bit since having 2 kids. But I'm getting back to that now. I'm pulling out my heels again. I'm getting back to fashion
That's
Danielle.
right. That's right.
When
Well,
we were
Lonnie,
taping for our photo shoot for the podcast, Danielle came and she had all these amazing heels, and I was like, "Oh, I need to up my heel game."
yes,
Absolutely.
love a good and love color. Like you, I had some prints. Actually, the shoes I had on were prints. I love colors, prints, all the things. So
Yes.
yes. Well, Lonnie, as we wrap up, we would love to know what is the best tip or advice that you've been given that you would like to share with our audience?
Oh gosh, the best tip, advice I've been given. The first thing that came to my mind was something. Gosh, I'm trying to remember who told it to me, but it literally blew my mind, and I've been living by it ever since. Like, the rules don't exist. Do you, right? Like, there is no way, right, wrong, any blueprint, carbon copy, whatever you want to call it, to live your life. You just have to live the life that's best for you, what's going to make you happy. And I've been living by that ever since. I think so many times we have these plans and this way of thinking that everything has to be A through Z. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes you might jump around to D and you might have to go back to A, right? Like, life is just not a perfect sequence of events to happen, and there's just going to be a lot of challenges along the way, and there's no rules to this thing of life. You just figure it out for yourself, and you make the life that you want to live, whatever's going to make you happy. So once I heard that, I was like, you're right, there's nothing else stopping me. I'm just going to live the life I want, whatever it looks like.
I love that. And you have
Me
done
too.
that, my friend. I just want to celebrate you. You have been an inspiration to me along my journey. I just appreciate you as I see you grow to different heights and what you're doing. You are doing it. So I celebrate you. Thank you for being a guest with us. It has been such a pleasure talking with you. Yeah, it's been amazing.
No, thank you both. I am glad to be in great company. Even you all creating this platform in this space for women of color like us, having this platform to be able to talk about our experiences to potentially help someone else, right? Like, I think that's the real key in life, right? Like, take the baton and pass it on, right? So I appreciate the platform and letting me be just a little bit of moment on your day and with your beautiful group of people who follow you. So I'm grateful for this experience, and thank you so much for having me.
Thank
Thank
you. It was such a pleasure meeting you. I heard so many great things about you, and now I know why.
you. So,
I'll
Lonnie,
come back anytime. Let me know, ladies. This was awesome.
okay, awesome. Well, if people
You'll
want to
come back.
follow you or connect with you, what's the best way? Where are the places that people can find you?
Yeah, of course. I would say if you want the professional version of Lonnie, find me on LinkedIn. That's Loni Monroe, LoniMonroe. I mean, my social's not going to be anything professional or work related. But LinkedIn is definitely where you can find more of that kind of avenue of PR gems and stuff. So, yeah, follow me on LinkedIn.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Lonnie. It's been great having you. And we'll see you all next time on the next episode of the PR Style Guide podcast.
Thank you both.